Punished for saving. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I've got a good one to look at today. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article from ABC News, discussing just the liquid asset test and how some people who are trying to get job seeker are being punished for saving. And you'll see, if you've been watching me for at least the last year, I've been rambling on and on and on about how people are never even encouraged to have an emergency fund. There's no discussion offered, particularly when you have all of these articles. No one says they should have emergency fund, they should have this, they should have that. Now we're seeing people are being punished for having an emergency fund, for taking the time to do it. This is the problem with any of these socialist policies. They are designed, I suspect, to encourage dependence on the state in one way or another. Look at our progressive taxation system. The more you earn, the more you're punished. It discourages you from working hard. It discourages you from stepping up. If you work harder, you get more, but you pay more. And then you get all the idiots saying pay their fair share. Fair would be equality. Isn't that what we all want? Anyway, let's have a look at this. Because then we'll look at some of the ways that this may be mitigated. So the liquid assets test sees applicants with savings shut out of job seeker payments. Now, here's the thing. What is job seeker? What is welfare? What is the dole? It's meant to be an emergency payment that you need. So if you have enough of your own reserve, well, that should be fine. But should, that's what it's used for. But should the job seeker, create a disincentive for you to save, a disincentive for people to have a reserve if you don't even get it? If you've got a friend who hasn't saved and has just pissed all the money away, and then they're getting the job seeker and you've gone without to save, and through no fault of your own, now you can't get the job seeker. Let's have a look. So Christy thought she was doing everything right for her young family. Every month, the single mother had been diligently watching her budget, limiting her spending, and building up her savings. Then came the pandemic. I've been working full-time now on a few different jobs for over 6 years, she said. I've been making sure that I've been looking to the future and putting money aside. It's taken a good 5 or 6 years to get us to the point where we're not living week to week. Now, that is fantastic. That is great. That is really good. That's encouraging to see. I'm really happy, actually, that someone is looking at this. I know this is going to be a sad turn of this article, but that someone's actually thinking like this. At the beginning of July, she lost her job as a business development coordinator at a property management company. The Sydney woman received a redundancy payment, and under Centrelink rules, she's not eligible for job seeker payments until early October. But even then, she's unlikely to receive payments. All the money she saved will put her over the threshold of the liquid assets test, which measures what the government deems funds readily available to you, a determination made with departmental discretion. Now, here's the thing. Here's the departmental discretion that you need to keep in mind. So this is bureaucrats punishing you for saving, for not being, a typical week-to-week paycheck. You're not being a good little sheep. You're not preparing. You're being too sensible here. A single mother being too sensible, they don't like that. Preparing for the future, we can't have that. This is the clown world that we're living in now. The federal government removed the liquid asset test in March as the pandemic crunch took hold, but will reintroduce it for job seeker applicants on September 25th. It does make me feel like I'm being penalized, she said. I'm going to be even further behind the 8 ball. For singles, the test threshold is $5,500. For singles with children, it's $11,000. So, $11,000. Now let's jump over here to look at this is from the Social Security Guide from the Australian Government, the liquid assets. And we'll go through this just to get a bit of understanding, at least the definition. So, this definition relates to the liquid assets test, waiting period, which applies to job seeker payment, youth allowance, Oz study payment, and sickness allowance. The definition also relates to the definition of severe financial hardship in SS Act, Section 19C and Section 19D. Definition. The liquid assets of a person mean that person's cash and other readily realizable assets It also includes such assets as of the person's partner and any such assets owned by both the person and their partner. So example. This is example. It's not, remember, it's at their discretion. It's at the bureaucrats' beck and call, their entertainment. That's what I consider discretion for bureaucrats. Cash on hand from any source, including borrowings. So money that you can borrow from someone that's a debt, shares, and debentures, term deposits. So term deposits, which are probably locked away. Any other money available at short notice. Some payments made or due to be made by a person's last employer. So even if you don't have it. 10-year insurance bonds, amounts deposited or lent to banks or other financial institutions, whether or not the amount can be withdrawn or repaid immediately, excluding bonds or bank guarantees for the purpose of an AOS. Assets given to a son or daughter in some circumstances, loans to other people, unencumbered proceeds from a sale of business, monies in trust funds, bank accounts, including mortgage offset accounts, but not, so mortgage offset accounts, but not balances of mortgage redraw accounts and compensation payments. So if you have it in a redraw, no mention of gold at all, no mention of gold or precious metals in this entire document. I've searched it here. So if you've got your money in your mortgage redraw account, which we've seen with Me Bank, or no, if you made extra payments on your mortgage and you can redraw it again, so it's like the big credit card on your bank. We have seen with Me Bank, they can just change however they want. Then you're good. So assets not considered liquid. Liquid assets do not include proceeds from the sale of a person's principal home in some circumstances, drawdown loan facilities such as margin loan facilities, mortgage redraw account balances or credit card limits. Oh, lucky they're not counting credit card limits. The value of a person's investment in a first home saver account, bonds or bank guarantees for the purpose of an AOS, voluntary one-off payments of a person's non-housing debt in some circumstances, the surrender value of a life insurance policy, an amount of her age, I don't even know what that is, and, here we go, there's full-time tertiary students complaining youth allowance or Austudy, or the recipient's liquid assets can be reduced by certain allowable deductions. So you can write these off. This is like doing another tax return for this liquid asset test. Wow. I honestly thought it was a lot higher than this. Because think about it. Here's the thing. If you're a tax-paying citizen of this nation, and the government takes your money, they have a responsibility to provide this to you. That's the part of the deal, isn't it? They force you to give you money under threat of jail. Don't they, expect you to do that? But you've got to run your money down till you're $5,000, till you're $11,000. Here's the question. The problem is you could put it all in gold and silver and store it, but then the department discretion will just go, nah, you can liquefy that. That'll change. You put it in crypto, nah, they can change. So it's just, we've got these terms here, but what do you think, everyone? This is the problem of the welfare state. You can see here how it is creating a disincentive for people to save, to prepare. They're punishing her. They're giving her less. She's getting less free money than other people. And she's probably worked hard. She has worked hard for years, where she's not being week to week. There you go. So why do people trust the government? Why do people trust the government? When people say in the comments, oh, Florian, government's always wrong. I don't agree with you. I'm going, well, mate, give me an example where they're not being dodgy bastards one way or another. Where you don't have reams of bureaucratic legal garbage to discussing something, which, she's a taxpayer. Depending on the value of someone's liquid assets and how far it puts them above these thresholds, $5,500, guys. Job seeker payments can be delayed until the time they are eligible to receive them, which can be up to 13 weeks. Katie's savings are above the threshold, so she'll have to use them up when she waits for job seeker to kick in. By October, her savings could be more than $12,000, which would mean a further 2 weeks without job seeker payments. But if Centrelink determines her assets are greater than that, she could wait longer. It doesn't feel fair, she said. I don't have a lot of a buffer. I don't have a lot of savings for a rainy day. Well, this is the socialism. They want you poor. They want you dependent on the state. That's it. Guys, it's equality. We'll all be equal in our poverty. We'll all be lining up at the bread queue, eating each other's pets. In a statement, a spokesperson for the Minister for Employment, Michaela Cash, said the test could be waived if a person was in severe financial hardship. Both the temporary exemption, the vast majority of income support recipients did not serve any liquid asset test waiting period, the statement said. The government said it did not know how many people currently on Job Seeker had benefited from the liquid asset test being suspended in March. You know why they did it? Because they didn't have the resources to check so many people. They couldn't have done it in the time frame. That is why they did it. They didn't do it out of the goodness of their heart or out of the taking care of people. It's because we're in a bloody depression, unemployment is skyrocketing, and they don't have the resources to deal with it. Look at this crap. Can you imagine how many people would go through all this garbage and how many bureaucrats sitting there? They'd spend hours dragging this out. This is a disincentive to get welfare, to just build up enough of your own reserve so you don't have to go through these hoops. That's the thing. Christie said she understood if some people questioned why she should get job seeker payments while she still had money in the bank. Well, she's a taxpayer. What I don't agree with is the amount that Centrelink allows you to have. $10,000 is not going to last you very long. No, it's not. It should be. It should be 1 year's worth of the average income. That's what I would argue. A 1 year buffer of cash. A 1 year buffer of cash. I think everyone should have a little bit of a buffer. This is the first time we've heard this in an article from the ABC. I'd put another argument. We should drastically reduce the welfare system and drastically reduce taxation. Go back to the old method. Family and charity. Charity begins at home, everyone. But this is the thing. The government has forcefully taken money from her. They've intervened in the market. They've set minimum wage laws, which mean some people can't even get employment. They don't even have the skills to get employment. And now they've completely shut down the economy. This is just a wake-up call, I think, for a lot of people, seeing how much control they have over people here in Australia, and just the reality of this socialist method of punishing those who work hard and who are smart and put something aside. So some economists believe bringing back the liquid asset test now is a bad idea. It means that many Australians, particularly the kinds of Australians who have lost jobs for the first time, will have to burn through quite a lot of their savings before they become eligible for the payment, the Grattan Institute's Brendan Coates said. Well, what you do is you just take your savings and put it off your debts. If you've got debts, you put them off. If you have significant savings, no debts, then you're going to be punished. But they don't like that. That's wrong. You've been living wrong, don't you realise? There are about 1.6 million Australians on JobSeeker, and some experts suggest up to 300,000 people now receiving the JobKeeper wage subsidy may join them at the end of the year. Mr. Coates argues the more money those on JobSeeker have to spend in the economy, the better. The challenge here is that the more that we rely on people relying on their own savings to get themselves through, the less willing they will be going to spend, he said. No, well, he's right there. Consumer confidence. If you've watched The Hidden Secrets of Money, people are pulling in their horns. They're the money's under the mattress. We read a previous article today about more people buying gold, physical gold, to store. On the other side of the crisis, that is something we're going to need them to do in the recovery. Getting Australians to draw down on those savings, particularly their liquid savings that they can access today, does probably make it harder for a lot of Australians to get through this. As for Christie, she's already on the hunt for a new job. There you go. But she said she was petrified about the future with no savings and trying to live on JobSeeker. So if something goes wrong, if the car breaks down, or, we get a big bill, or my rent increases, or any of those kinds of things, I'm not going to have that option of taking that on the chin, she said. It's really going to be a massive stress because I don't have the buffer sitting in the bank waiting to be used in an emergency. So hopefully she will manage to find a job so she doesn't need to depend on the state. But this just shows you what I'm telling people. No wonder no one wants to have a rainy day buffer. No wonder no one wants to have a fund. You're discouraged from it. You're financially penalized for being sensible. You're getting less bonuses, less handouts than the person who is irresponsible. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So the taxes she's paid through her life, through working, is now going to someone who's lived, not as responsibly as her. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments below. What would your solutions be to this, everyone? What would your solutions be? How would you modify the welfare system here in Australia? That'll be a good one. We'll get some comments going there. And do you think gold will be accounted for? But then again, I suspect if people start piling all their money into gold, it will be considered a liquid asset. But then again, it does take a little bit of effort to get to. It takes a couple of days. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links on Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next episode.